I've been a rancher all my life, but I've just really started to better understand soil health. Over the last 10 years, we have implemented a number of practices to help be more regenerative, more sustainable in our production practices. One of those would include more intensive rotational grazing. And doing that, we are using virtual fencing. Collars on our cows that keep them in specific pastures, virtual fences, so that we can rotate and better utilize the grass that's there, better utilize places where the cows don't always want to go. So we're getting more production per acre with that. I will say what we have seen with spraying for weeds every other year is more of a suppression program that's really helping us from a mesquite tree control standpoint as well. So we spray after bud break and we've got good leaf on those mesquites. It defoliates those mesquites. If I spray too early, they come back. If I spray at the right time after their full leaf, it defoliates that mesquite tree for the full year. And so it's slowly starving that tree to death where it's eating up its root supply just to try and stay alive. So, man, now that we're 10 years into that, we're seeing a lot more grass. And yet we still have those skeletons of trees there. And I like that because from a wildlife habitat standpoint, my hunters love that. And I'm not having to disturb the soil where we used to do some grubbing, track hoe, bulldozer and push those trees into piles. I like it because I'm able to leave the soil the way it is. And those roots, what we're finding is as those trees and roots disintegrate, getting more carbon down into the soil, and it's almost like a wick or to get moisture down deeper into the soil. And as a result, we're seeing more grazing, more plants that are able to withstand longer periods of drought. So my dad's always been a believer in taking care of the land. And, you know, he was an early adopter of many practices, cross fencing, making smaller pastures, rotating cattle and those kind of things. And I say smaller pastures, well, you know, going from thousands of acres to a section, 640 acres. Where now we're taking those section pastures with virtual fencing and breaking it up into 100-acre pastures and rotating them through that. Don't have to build any new fence, and the virtual fencing is cheaper than building new fence. I mean, that's the beautiful part. And I can get on my phone and know exactly where all my cows are 24 hours a day. It's a wonderful thing. And if a hunter leaves a gate open or somebody, leaves a gate open or a water gap gets washed out by big rain, my cattle are still where they're supposed to be because they're inside that virtual fence. So that works beautifully. We got into the virtual fencing because of happenstance. We had a big fire in January of 2023 come through the ranch, and it didn't burn all of any one pasture, but it burned a little of a lot of different pastures across the ranch. Burned up fence, and to take care of that land, that was January. I needed to rest that all the way through mid-November for that plant culture to really regenerate. And so to do that, we could have built single or two-wire electric fence, or we could have built extremely expensive permanent fencing, really in places where we didn't want it or need it. But the virtual fencing, I didn't have to put in gates. I don't have to put in cattle guards. I don't have to do any of that. And it kept the cattle out of the burned area, let it rest, while allowing us to use the rest of the pasture that did not burn. So it saved us a lot of money in that aspect, because otherwise I would have had to rest such a huge portion of the ranch because a portion of each of so many pastures was suffered from that fire. Yeah, with the virtual fencing, so all those calves have beautiful necklaces on, if you want to look at it that way. They've got bling. It takes about a week for them to be trained. It's like Pavlov's dog. I mean, as they get closer to the barrier that we draw on our computer and that I can see on my phone, as they get about 5 yards from it, it starts to make a beeping sound. And then when they get to that barrier, then it sends electrical impulse, and it'll go 85 feet. That's how wide the fencing zone is that incentivizes those cows to turn around and go back to the herd. So is it perfect? Does it keep every cow exactly where you want it? I haven't found the perfect fence yet, but it's provided a great deal of new technology that's helped us better manage our land and our cattle simultaneously. So with the virtual fencing, all the cows wear a collar. It has a transponder that every 30 minutes, it reports into the tower that tells us on our phone where every cow is. On the computer, I draw fences of where I want the cows to be. I can move them every day so that I can rotate them. I can keep them there for months. It's very flexible, but it really helps us to better manage and graze the land. You can see the cows are really comfortable with it on. Doesn't bother them a bit with them grazing or drinking or anything else. We just have it on the adults. So the calves stay close enough to mom that they can cross the invisible barrier, the virtual fence, at any time, but mom's going to stay on the right side of it where she's supposed to be, and the calf comes back. So it's a neat new technology that is a whole lot easier to use than electric fence and a whole lot cheaper to use than permanent fencing, and a lot of flexibility. We can even move the cattle with the virtual fence and have a moving fence that moves the cattle slowly towards the corrals when we get ready to gather. So a lot of neat technology, and the neat part is there's a lot of new technology and new competition in this space that's driving innovation. I think we'll see a lot more of this in the near future. I've been a rancher all my life, but I've just really started to better understand soil health and what that means, that if I graze right, if I take half and leave half and let it rejuvenate, then I'm able to produce a lot more grass. I'm able to produce a lot more feed for my cows. I can cover bare spots. I can prevent erosion, and I can create an atmosphere in the soil that makes the land so much more productive. It's just a matter of doing the right thing. And it's not that hard. I just think it's, to me, every rancher should be, every ag producer should be a regenerative producer, because it's about doing the right thing so that we can be more sustainable and we can do more with less. So we just started a new company called Ranchers Sustainable Angus. Ranchers Sustainable Angus is an alliance of seed stock producers that are raising bulls and selling bulls to all of our customers to improve their profitability and their sustainability in the cattle business, to produce a really high quality product with a sustainability story, to be able to go just like this and go and talk to those families, like so many that are watching this right now, that their families are out there busting their tails to take care of the land and to do what's right, to better feed an ever-growing population with fewer and fewer acres. It's not only our calling, it's our responsibility.